Hello everyone, this is Ankit Jain. I welcome you all to my channel Tech Journey with Ankit. Today is day 5 of our LWC Bootcamp where we will explore the JS spread operator. We will be exploring the destructuring. Moreover, we also be discussed what is actually the JavaScript objects. What are JavaScript objects, how you can utilize the JavaScript object, how to access the values from the JavaScript object, and how to put the values inside the JavaScript object. Right, so let's get started with our day 5 of the bootcamp. Before we go and deep dive into the JavaScript, a quick intro about me. My name is Ankit Jain. I do have more than 10 plus years of experience in the Salesforce ecosystem, where I got an opportunity to work on the different aspects of the Salesforce, including the architect as well as the corporate training. I'm doing this uh, architect and the corporate training from the last 10 plus years, and I got an opportunity to work on the different aspects including the Apex, LWC, and the integration. Also do have a knowledge on the sales cloud, service cloud, CPQ, and billing too. The reason I have started this bootcamp because I want to share my knowledge with the community, and I want to give back to the community based off my knowledge. In case you guys want to have a connection with me, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also connect with me on the LinkedIn, and also I have put the Telegram channel link. There also you can connect to get the regular updates about this bootcamp. So let's get started with the first topic for today, that is the JavaScript object. Right, JavaScript object is considered as the again heart of a JavaScript. Unless and until you are not getting the 100% of the JavaScript object, it will be a bit challenging for you to understand the JavaScript. So what is actually a JavaScript object? So in JavaScript, the objects are written as the key value pair. The objects are written as the key value pair, where where the key will be the name and the value will be the actual value that you want to assign to the name. And both the name and the value, they are separated by a colon, where name will be the actual name and value will be the value that you want to assign to that name, and both are separated by a colon. Another thing about the object is always be placed inside the curly brace. Whenever we are creating any object, we always create the object inside the curly brace. And in the curly brace, we do have the key value pair. That key can be anything and value can be anything. But here in the object, we have to always remember that the key that we are dealing with must be a string. Right? This is a very important aspect of the object. In the object, the key will always be a string. You cannot create the key as the collection. In case you have to do that, then you have to go for some another JavaScript features, that is nothing but the maps and the sets that I'll be covering down the line. But whenever you are dealing with the object, make sure that your key is always a string. That is also referred sometime as the property name. However, the value can be anything. The value can be another object, the value can be an array, the value can be a number, value can be anything. But the key will always be a string inside the object. Right? You can create a JavaScript object notation for what in case you do have the object and you want to convert that object into the string, or you do have one string and you want to convert that string into the object. For that, we do have the two methods available from the JSON. One is the json.parse. What this method will do, this method will convert your object into the this method will convert your string into the object. And another one is the json.stringify. It will convert your string into the object. It will convert your string into the object. Now, moving toward the next point, to access the value from the object, again, there are two ways to do it. In case you have to add a new value into the object, or you have to access the value from the object in the JavaScript, we can do it either with the help of dot notation or with the help of the square bracket. We can do it either with the help of dot notation or with the help of square bracket. So in case you have to add something into the object, you can do that with the help of dot notation. In case you have to access something from the object, that also you can do with the help of dot notation. Right? Again, you can also iterate over the object with the help of for in loop, like you iterate over the arrays. Similarly, you can also iterate over the objects by using this for in loop here. So let's go and deep dive into the object practically. We understood theoretically. Let me put a quick revision. Objects are always a key value pair. objects, we do have the value inside the brackets where the key will always be the string and the value can be anything. In case you have to convert object into the string, then you will use the json.stringify. Similarly, in case you have to convert the string into the object, then you will use the json.parse method. To access the values from the object, you will use the dot notation, or to add the value inside the object, you will use the dot notation. Similarly, whenever you have to access the values from the object, you will go for the bracket notation as well. When to go for the dot notation and when to go for the bracket notation, I will cover that with example. Another one is you can also loop through the object with the help of foreign loop. The way you can loop the arrays, similarly you can also loop the objects with the help of this foreign loop. So let's go and deep dive into it. So let me open the editor. So this is the editor. Here I have created one folder with the name of d5 and I have put the two files. One is the index.html and the script.js. We have already discussed in the previous session how to create the project structure. So save the time, I have already created this project structure here. Right, in case you are going over this video for the first time, go over the previous day video, you will understand how to create the project structure for the demo purpose. Right, now here I'll be on the script.js file and here I'll be writing console.log, let's say objects. Let's go and launch the local server. To launch the local server, I am doing the right click and opening the local server. Again, we have installed this extension name as live server. So with the help of which I am launching the local server here. So my local server is launched and I am opening that here. Right now, whatever the changes that we will do here, that changes will be visible on my local server. So here I do have the local server. Here you can see I have put the objects, so I can see the objects here. Now let's go and start with very basic. First we will understand how to declare the object. So let's say I am creating one object here. Again, it's a standard practice in the JavaScript. We go and create the object with the help of const variable. But if you want, you can also create it with the help of let variable. So it's completely up to you. So here I am creating the object as my details. And here, as I said, whenever we have to declare the object, we have to put that object inside the curly brace, right? And in the object, we always have two things. One is the key and second is the value. So let's say here I am giving the key as fname and the value that I am giving here as Ankit. This is how we go and specify the key and value inside the object. So this will be the key and this will be the value. Similarly, in case I have to add another property inside the object, so I will go and use here the L name colon. Let's say I am putting here the value as Jan. Now, if I go and log this my details object, for example, console.log, you will see that this is how my object will look like. This is how my object will look like. Now, inside the single object, it is not mandatory that you should go and put only a string. I can go and put the numbers as well. Let's say I am putting here the age as 75, for example. So you can see I am getting here the age as 75. You can also go and put an array inside the object. So let's say here I am putting an array of skills, like I know the admin, I know Apex, I know LWC, I know JS. These are my different skills that I know. Okay, so here I can also put the array as well. So you can see inside the object, I do have the first name, last name, I do have the skills. This is nothing but an array, right? And I do have the age as well. Again, in the object, the sequence doesn't matter. Right, in the array the sequence does matter, but inside the object the sequence doesn't matter. So that's the reason you can see here I have put the f name and here the f name is coming at some other place, right? So another property about the object is in object the sequence doesn't matter, right? This is how we declare the object. Now another thing that we discussed is we have discussed about the two method. First one is the json.stringify. What this method will do, json.stringify, it will convert the object into the string. What it will do, it will convert the object into the string. If I go and print the type of this object, for example, here I am writing down the type of, we already discussed the use case of type of. So I am putting here the type of the object. You can see here I am getting the type of my details as an object. What if I want to convert this into the string form? To do that, we do have one method, that is the json.stringify. So what I am doing here is, let me go and declare one variable, let JSON string. I am putting one variable name as a JSON string, and I want to convert this object into the string form. So what I am doing here is I am putting here the JSON dot stringify, and here I am passing the object that I want to convert it into the string, because on the string we do have different types of methods that we can apply. On the object we do have the different ways of access. Sometimes we want to convert the object into the string, and we also want to convert the string into the object for the different business scenario. So here we do have this method to convert it into the string form. Now if I go and log these details here related to the JSON string, so here I am putting the JSON string, and also I am putting the type of JSON string here. You can see here that it is converted into the string form. It is converted into the string form, and the type of which we are getting as string. And the type of which we are getting as string. Another method that we do have is the json.parse. What we can do with the help of method json.parse, we can convert the string into object. What we can do with the help of json.parse, we can convert the string into the object. Let's say this is the string that we do have, a JSON string. I again want that to be converted into the form of object. Let's say I am creating an object here. Let's say let my JSON, or I'm putting this as a JSON object. How I can convert it into the object? For that I will use another method, that is the JSON. Should be in the exact same case, and here I am using the method as parse, and here what I have to pass, I have to pass the string. Here I have to go and pass the string. Now what it will create, let's go and print that as well. So ideally it should go and create the object for us. So here I am printing this, and let's go and validate. You can see what we are getting again here is the object. What we are getting here is the object. This is how we can convert the string into the object and object into the string by using the json.stringify and the json.parse method. In LWC, we heavily use this method whenever we have to debug an LWC program, right? So you should know, in case you are getting an object from the Apex and you have to convert it into the string, you have to use the json.stringify. Similarly, most of the times we get the inputs from the user, and to the Apex we send the object. That time we use the json.parse. Right? That is the use cases for the json.stringify and the json.parse. Now let's go and understand another aspect of the object. Now let's say I have to modify this object. For example, now I got this object now. Okay. Now in this object I have to add my date of birth. In this object I have to add my date of birth. So another point that I am putting here is modify object. How I can modify the object? To modify the object, what you have to do here is, there are two ways to do it. One, you can do it with the help of dot notation. Another way, you can do it with the help of square bracket. So first I will show you how we can do it with the help of dot notation. So for example, let's say here I want to add the object. I want to add, let's say, my date of birth inside this object. So what I will do here, I will go put the object name, dot name, followed by the date of birth. And here I am, let's say I am passing the value as 0101, let's say 1950, for example. Okay, I am passing this value here. What I am passing here is 01011950 as my date of birth, right? So what the JavaScript will check, in the my details if you do have the property available with this name. Do we have the property available in the object with the name of date of birth? The answer is no. So what it will do, it will go and add the new property inside your object. What it will do, it will go and add the new property inside your object. So here, if I go and print it again, you can see that I do have a new property available, that is the date of birth. Again, I am repeating what JavaScript will check. JavaScript will check after the dot notation, whatever the property name that you have passed, if that property is available inside the object. If the answer comes to no, it will, what it will do, it will go and add that property here. So in this example, DOB was not available in my original object. So here it have added that new property and also put the value for that. Now, what if the property is available? For example, let's say here I do have one property as age, right? Here I do have one property as age. Now I want to update this property. I want to update this property. So what I can do here is, uh, let me put here the only 1950 as of my date of year, not date of birth. For this example, I am putting here the date of year as 1950. Okay. Now, here I want to update the age. Initially, I have added the property. Now I want to update the property. How I can do that? Again, I will put here my details dot age. Whatever the property that you have to update, again, you have to follow the same thing. What you have done to add the new property. And here you can pass the updated value. Here you can pass the updated value. So here what I am doing, I am putting here the 2023 minus, you can also pass the value. Okay, for the time being, I'm passing the hard coded value as 1950. So you can see here, my age will be updated. Initially, I have put that value as 75, but now the age is coming up as 73. Initially, it was 75, but after I have populated the new value, it is coming as 73. So with the help of this dot notation, again I am repeating, if the property is not available, it will add the property. If the property is available, it will update that property. Right? This is how you can modify the object with the help of dot notation. Another way of modifying the object is by using the square bracket. You can do the exact same thing with the help of square bracket as well. Right? For example, let's say now I do have one variable. Let's say here I do have one variable as country, and in that variable I do have the value as India. In that variable I do have the value as India. Now I want my property should be populated dynamically. Here what we are doing, we are hard coding the property name. But here let's say I want my property to be populated dynamically. So what I will do here is I will go and put the my details. Inside the bracket I will put the object name. So here see, I am putting the property name. What I am putting here is my details dot country. What I am putting here is my details of country. Now if I go and print this again, if I go and print this again, sorry, I have to go and assign this to my details back. Sorry, I'm doing something wrong. Sorry, here the value should be country, and here I should go and populate the value as India. It should be something like this. Right. You can see here I have given the variable name here as my country, which does have the value as country. Now I want to populate my property dynamically here. So what I have done, I have given the my details name. I have put the variable that I want to assign it as a property, and this is the value that I want to assign. So here you can see the country is getting assigned and we are getting the value as India. Right? So the use case of the square bracket is whenever we have to populate the property dynamically. Right? When we should go for this one, whenever we have to populate property dynamically, then we should go for the square bracket. That is the first use case. Another use case. Now, for example, let's say I want in my property there should be some spaces. For example, let's say here I am putting the property as my details, and here I want to put the value as city space name and is equal to Pune. For example, here I am using the dot notation and I want to put the space in between the city and name. What will happen? You can see we are getting an error. We cannot populate the property name with the space by using the dot operator, but we can do that with the help of square bracket. So what we can do here is, in case I have to populate the city name with the space, I will go and put here my details, and inside the bracket I am putting the property name. You can put it dynamically or also you can hard code it. So let's say here I am putting the hard coded value as a city name and I am assigning the city name as Pune. I am assigning here the city name as Pune. Now if I go and print the object again, you will see that I am getting the property with the spaces as well. So whenever you have to populate the property with the space, then also you can go for the square bracket notation. Then also you can go for the square bracket notation. Let me check the chat box if we do have any questions. Okay, we don't. Right. In case you guys do have any questions, please let me know in the chat box. I believe it is clear to everyone how to access, how to modify the value inside the object, either by using the dot operator or by using the square notation. Now the next thing that we do have is how to access the value from the object. How to access the value from the object. Again, for accessing the value inside the object, again we do have the two things. One is the dot notation and second is the square bracket. Whenever we have to access the value from the object, we do have two things. One is the dot notation and second is the square bracket. So likewise, we have modified the property. Similarly, we can access the property as well. Let's say here I want to access the country. So for example, let's say let my country, and I want to access this country here. So I can directly go and put the object name. What is my object name? My details, followed by the dot. What is whatever the property that you want to access. So let's say here I want to access the property as country. So here if I go and print that value, you can see that I am getting here the my country as India. So we can access the values from the object by using the dot notation. You can also access the value from the object by using this square bracket notation as well. Right? So for example, let's say here I want to access the city name. Right? So let's say I am putting here let my city is equal to, I am putting here the my details again, and inside the bracket I am putting the city name, whatever the property that I have to access. Again, let's go and log that value. So here I am logging the value of my city. So you can see that I'll be able to access the my city as Pune. Right? So you can modify the value with the help of this dot notation. Also, you can access the value with the help of this dot notation. Similarly, you can modify the value with the help of bracket notation and access the value with the help of bracket notation. I hope I make it clear what is object, how to modify the object, and how to access the value from the object. Still, if you do have any question, folks, let me know. Okay, let's move toward the next point. That is the spread operator. Spread operator comes from the modern JavaScript. With the help of spread operator, you can perform the different operations on the arrays as well as the object. For example, if you have an array and you have to add the new values into the array, you can do with the help of spread operator. Moreover, in case you do have to add any values, that also you can do with the help of spread operator. Right? In case you have to go and copy the array or copy the object, that also you can do with the help of spread operator. So the way spread operator works is with the help of this three dot notation. Whenever you see the three dot notation inside the JavaScript, that is nothing but the spread operator. Three dot notation on the right hand side, it will be considered as the spread operator, and this three dot notations on the left hand side, it will be considered as the rest operator. Right? In LWC, very frequently we use the spread operator. That's why I'm covering here. Right? Many times we have to copy the array or copy the object. Right? That time we go for the spread operator. So with the help of spread operator, we can expand the string, we can combine the array, we can combine the object, and also we can perform the shallow copy of an array and the object. Right? Before I go to the spread operator, I can see there is one question from Yogesh. He is asking that please explain that question. Please explain the stringify and the JSON dot parse use cases. So Yogesh is asking for the use cases of the JSON dot stringify and the JSON dot parse. So Yogesh, we go for the JSON dot stringify whenever we have to convert the object into the string form. Right? For example, let's say you are getting a response from an Apex class, and you are getting that response in the form of object, because Apex classes always returns the object. Right? But for the debugging purpose, you want to convert that response in the form of object or in the form of string. Let's say there is too much information, you are not able to get it, what all present inside that object. So you want to convert that into the string to go and have the better readability. So for that, you can use the json.stringify. Similarly, again, whenever you have to send more than one parameters to the Apex classes, it is considered a good practice that you should send the value in the form of object. And for that, to create the object, we use the json.parse method. When we go and deep dive into the LWC, I will show you the use cases with examples how to use the json.stringify and the json.parse for the troubleshooting purpose. Right? Let's go and understand the spread operators now with the help of examples. Again, a quick revision. A spread operator is nothing but an operator with the three dots. With the help of spread operator, we can perform the multiple things. We can expand the string, we can combine the array, we can combine the object, and also we can create the shallow copy of an array and object. So let me go to the project. Here I'm taking out this complete, or let me comment this complete code for now so that we have a better picture on the top. Let's get started with the console.log spread operator. Let me remove it. It's fine. Okay. Let's say I do have the two arrays. Let's say I do have the two array. For example, let's say I do have one array as number 1, in which I do have the values as 1, 2, and 3. Okay. I do have another array. Let's say number 2. And in that array, I do have the remaining values as 4, 5, and 6. So these are the two arrays that I do have. Now I want to concatenate these two array. Before the ES6, we used to have the concat method to concat the two arrays. That you can also do, but with the help of modern JavaScript, it is very easy to concat the two array. So what I have to do here is I have to go and combine both of these array and create one single array. Right? I have to go and combine these two arrays and create one single array. How we can do that? So the first use case that I am covering here is concatenation of array. So with the help of spread operator, what we can do, we can combine two array. So let's say here I am putting the name as combined array. And here the arrays that I want to combine. For example, this is the array that I want to combine. So you have to put that array in the form of spread operator. So here I am putting the three dots, which stands for the spread operator. And this is the array that I want to combine. So I am putting the number 1. Similarly, putting a comma. Now the next array that I want to add here is the number 2 array. So what I will do, I will again put the three dots and put the number 2 here, so that we do have the combined values of both the array. So that we do have the combine values of both the array. Let me go and print all these three arrays here. So first I am printing the number 1, another one I am printing here the number 2, number 2, and the last one that I am printing here is the combined array. Let me go back and check here. You can see here we do have the three arrays. One first array will have the value as 1 2 3, second array will have the value as 4 5 6, and in the last we do have the combined array with the values as 1 2 3 4 5 6. How this combination is possible? With the help of this spread operator. So the one of the use case of the spread operator is to combine the array. Now another use case of the spread operator is to expand the string. Another use case of the spread operator is expand the string. Let's say I am putting here let my name is equal to, I am putting a string here as my name is Ankit. Okay, now I want this string to be expanded. So what I will do here is, again I will go and use the spread operator. I am directly doing in the console.log, and here again I am using the three dots to expand this and putting the variable name. You can see here it is broken down into the specific characters, right? Initially it was a string something like this. If I go and log the string so that you guys can understand the difference between the both, right? This is how the string was, but after I use the spread operator, it is broken down into the single characters. It is broken down into the single character. So we use the spread operator to expand the string. Another use case of the spread operator is in case I have to add only one value inside the array. Okay, we can initially we used to do it with the help of push method. Again, you can do it with the help of push method. There is nothing wrong. But another approach that also you can follow is you can also do the same thing with the help of spread operator as well. So for example, let's say if this is the array, let's say I'm putting here is add elements in array. So for example, if this is my array, which does have the value as 1, 2, 3. Now inside this, I want to add few more entries. For example, so first I am putting the entries that we do have for the original one. And now inside this, I am adding few more entries. Let's say I'm adding the entries here as 10, 11, 12, right? If I go and print the number one array again, you can see that now I do have the array with the additional entries. Not only in the end, you can also add the entries with the help of spread operator in the beginning as well, or in between the mid as well, right? So for example, if I go and shift this value to the beginning, that also will be fine. You can see that also will be fine, so that the entries will be added in the beginning, right? You can also add the entries in the last as well. For example, you can keep the spread operator in between and you can add the entries here. For example, let's say I want to add the entry here as 21, 22, 23. So you can see we can keep the spread operator in the start, in middle, or in end to add the elements inside the array. That is another use case of the spread operator, right? Again, it's not mandatory that we should go and use the spread operator only with the help of arrays. We can also use the spread operator on the objects as well. For example, let's say I do have the two object. Okay, let's say I am adding the object. Let's say I do have the two object. Let's say let my obj1. In this object, I do have the details like f name. I am putting the f name as Ankit, and here I am putting the skills as, let's say, JS, LWC, Apex. Okay, this is my first object in which we do have one entry and I do have the values. I am putting another array, or another object in which I am putting the last name. I am putting the value here as Jain. Okay, and let's say here I'm not adding an array. Here I'm putting the simple thing as a country, and country will be, let's say, India. Okay, now I want to concatenate both these arrays, so both these objects. So what I can put here is the final object. How we can concatenate both these objects now? So you can put here again the spread operator with the three dots, put my object 1, comma, again you can put the 3 dots and the my object 2. Right? Now let's go and log this final object. So you can see that this final object will have the details of both the objects. So here I do have the final object. You can see it does have the details from the first object, and also it does have the details of the another object as well. So whenever you have to concatenate the objects, then also you can use the spread operator. Right? Another use of spread operator is to make the copy of an array. Another use of spread operator is to make the copy of an array and object. Again, this concept is very important. I want the close attention from all of you. So copy an array and object. So let's say I do have one array. First, I will show you for the array, and the similar analogy you can also apply for the object. Let's say here I do have an array, and I am naming that array as the my favorite fruits, and I am naming this as an, let's say, apple, grapes, and banana. Okay, let's say these are the list of an this is an array with my favorite fruit. Okay, now I want to create the copy of my copy of this array. Okay, so let me go and put my favorite array fruits copy. This is another name that I am giving here. First I will show you what will happen in case you are not using the spread operator. Okay, so what I am doing here is I am putting the copy just by using the equal to symbol. Okay, again if I go and log this, you will see that we are definitely getting the expected result. So here if you go and check, we are having the copy of this, and I am getting the expected result for both. So let's say this is my favorite fruits, right, and this is the copy, right? Both looks good as of now. This was my original array. I have assigned the value of this array into this array, and now both of my array have the exact same values. And the expectation here is if I do have this array's value will never be untouched because we have taken the copy of that array. Okay, now what I am doing here is on this copy, let's say I am adding one more entry. Okay, so what I am putting here is my favorite fruits copy. I am also adding one more entry here, and here I am putting the entry as cherry, for example. Why the breakpoint? Sorry. Sorry, I'm using the method here as push. Right now, you can see what is happening here is on this array, I have added one of my favorite fruit in the copy array, and that is nothing but the cherry. Now, if I go and print this array, you can see that now in the copy, I do have the new entry as cherry, which is again nothing but good, right? But now the problems come here is as soon as I go and modify the copied array, my original array is also impacted. If I'm making the copy something like this with the help of equal to operator, if I go and print my original array, right, that array is also impacted. Here you can see I'm not touching that array. Here I'm only modifying the copied array, right? My original array is untouched, but although I have modified the copied array, my original array is also modified. This is referred as the deep copy in JavaScript. This is referred as the deep copy in JavaScript. This is possible because now both of these arrays, they are sharing the common reference. As both of them are sharing the common reference in the memory, if you go and modify any of this array, other array will be automatically impacted. Right? If you don't want that kind of a behavior, what you should do here is to avoid this kind of a deep copy, rather than you go and copy with the equal to operator, make a copy with the help of spread operator. So here what I am doing here is whenever I am making the copy, here I am using the spread operator. Right? If I go and perform this operation with the help of spread operator now, you can see that my copied is only affected, but my original array is untouched. But my original array is untouched. Again, I am repeating one more time. This was my original array. In case I am not making the use of spread operator, and I'm making the copy without the spread operator, my original array as well as the copied array will be impacted if any of the array is modified. In case you want that only the modified array will be impacted, then whenever you are making the copy, make sure that you are using the spread operator inside the array. Make sure that you are using the spread operator inside the array. So with the help of spread operator, the copy that you make is referred as the shallow copy. With the help of spread operator, the copy that you make will be referred as the shallow copy here. Let me go and check if we do have any questions on this. I hope I make it clear. But in case you guys do have any questions, let me know in the chat box. Okay, sounds good. Right. Now, the analogy that we have applied for the array is exactly same for the object. So whenever you are again copying the object, make sure that you are copying the object always with the three dots. For example, let's say here I do have one object as my details, and in that object I do have the value as f name, let's say Ankit, and the L name as Jain. Right now I have to take the copy of this array. So let me put here let my details, and here I am putting that as the my details copy. Let my details copy. Right. So I do have the my details and my details copy. In case I go and modify the sorry, my bad. Here the my details copy will be the my details only, because I want to make the copy of my details. So that's where I'm assigning the my details to the my details copy. Now if I go and modify the my details copy, let's say to add a new entry, let's say I'm putting here the value as age, and here I'm putting the age as, let's say, 75. Okay, now if I go and print both of this, for example, here I go and print the my details copy, and also if I go and print the my details, you will see that the both are impacted. Although I have only modified here the my details copy to add the age property, but this age property is also added in the my details as well. This age property is also getting added in the my details as well. If you don't want the original to be impacted whenever you are making the operations on the copy object, so whenever you are creating the copy, make sure that you are using this three dots operator here. Make sure that you are using this three dots operator. So with the help of these three dots, you can see your original is untouched and only your copy is impacted. Right? This is what the spread operator is, and these are the different operations that we can do with the help of spread operator. So we can expand the string, we can combine the array, we can combine the object, and also we can perform the copy of the array and the object. Right? Let's move toward the next concept, that is the destructuring. Destructuring is again a part of modern JavaScript. Destructuring basically it will allows you to unpack the value from the array or from the object. Let's say in your array you do have the different values, right? Whenever you want to extract the values from an array or from the object, destructuring will be very helpful. Right? Whenever you go and unpack the value either from an array or from an object and assign that values to a specific variable, in such scenarios destructuring will be very helpful. So your destructuring can be applied on the arrays, it can be applied on the objects, and also on the nested objects as well. It will be applied on the arrays, it will be applied on the objects, and also on the nested objects as well. Destructuring, trust me, makes your life very easy whenever you are dealing with the arrays, objects, as well as the nested objects to extract that value. Right? But whenever you are performing the destructuring with the arrays, you have to always remember that in the case of array, the order of the variable do matter. In the case of array, the order of the variables do matter. Okay? In the case of object, the name of the properties do matter. In the case of object, the order does not matter, because in the start of the session only we discussed that in the objects the orders are not specific. But in the object, the property name does matter. Similarly, in the arrays, the order of the variable does matter. Let's go and try to understand the destructuring with proper example so that you guys get it very clearly. Okay, so let me go back to the editor again. Let me take this out and put it here. Okay, so now we are talking or discussing about the destructure destructuring. Okay, so let's say I do have one array. Okay, let's say I do have one array. Let's say let my favorite fruits, and I'm putting the value inside this as apple, cherry, and the banana. Okay, traditionally, whenever we have to extract these values, how we used to do, right? Before the ES6, whenever we have to extract the values from the array, as we know, arrays always starts from the 0th index. So in case I have to extract these values, what I used to do here is I go and put here or let me go and put it in a more detailed way. Let's say let my favorite fruit 1 is equal to, I will go here, put my favorite fruits and using this as a 0. This was the traditional approach that we used to follow, right? So this will be the second and this will be the third, and here I'll be putting the first as well as the second, right? This was the traditional approach that we used to follow. But now, rather than we go and perform the operation in 3 different steps, we can do that in one single step with the help of destructuring. How to do that? To do that, what you will do here is you will go and put the let, because your variables you are declaring with the let, and now inside the array you will go and declare the values. So for example, here I am putting the my favorite fruit 1 and this is the my favorite fruit 2. And from where you want to extract these values, let's say I also want to get the my favorite fruit 3 as well. From where you want to get these values? From my fruit. So what will happen? This line will execute, what this line will do, this line will take the first value from the my favorite fruit. It will assign to this variable. It will take the second value, assign to this variable. It will take the third value and assign to this variable. Right? This is nothing but the destructuring of the array, where what we are doing, we are unpacking the values from the array. Right? Now if I go and log these things here, so let me go and put console.log my favorite fruit 1. Similarly, I can go and do that. Here is my favorite fruit 2 and the my favorite fruit 3. Right? You can see we are getting the extracted values from the array. Right? We are getting these extracted values from the array. You will get this type of scenarios very frequently in the LWC documentation, where they are extracting the values from the array and putting it into the separate variables. These are the 3 variables that we are declaring, and in that variable we are directly populating the value. So with the help of this destructuring, what we are doing is we are converting the 3-step operation into the one single step. Right? We are converting the 3-step operation into the one single step. But again, as I said, whenever we are performing the destructuring of an array, the object, the sequence does matter, or the order does matter, because in the order you are declaring the variables, it will go and extract in the same way. Now what will happen if you don't go and specify here the my favorite fruit 3? Let me go and remove this from here. You can see we are only getting the first 2, apple and the cherry. I am only getting the first 2 because I have not declared the value for the banana here. Right? Now what if I don't want the cherry, but I want here the apple and the banana only? What if I don't want the cherry, but I want here the apple and the banana? As I said, in the destructuring of an array, the sequence does matter. In case you don't want the cherry here, what you have to do here is whenever you are performing the destructuring, you have to leave the space for the cherry. So here you have to make sure that you are putting a comma with a space. So there should be a space in between the 2 commas. Right? Although if you don't want to declare the variable, that's completely fine. The JavaScript will understand that you don't want to extract the cherry, but you have to put a placeholder for the cherry, and now you will be extracted able to extract the apple and the banana. But you have to make sure that you are leaving the space here for the cherry. If you are not leaving the space for the cherry here, you will never be able to extract it. You will always get the apple and the cherry in the form of output. Right? Now let's say here you do have another fruit. For example, let's say I do have the guava. Right? In case you want the apple and the guava, what you will do? You will put one more space. Right? You will put one more space. First space is for cherry, another space is for banana, and now you are getting the two fruits here is apple and the guava. This is how you can destructure by putting the space for the values that you don't want to extract. Right? Now another scenario that can also be possible. Let me go and put here. Right? Let's say I want to print my top favorite fruits. Okay, let's say I only want to have the apple and the cherry in the two variables and remaining values as a part of array. Okay, so what I can do here is I can go and declare the three variables here. So let's say I'm putting here the favorite fruit 1, another one I am putting here the favorite fruit 2, and for the remaining one I don't want to consider them. I want to have them into the separate array. So for that, what we'll be doing here is we will be again putting the three dots here, and let's say I'm giving the variable name here as rest. I am giving here the variable name as rest. This rest is the variable name. So here, let's say I want to unpack the value from the my fruits. So what will happen here? I will get the apple and the cherry, and the remaining values will be there in the separate array name as rest. So this rest on the left hand side, it will be referred as the rest operator in the JavaScript. So here, if I go and print the my favorite fruit 1, favorite fruit 2, and lastly, sorry, and lastly the rest as well. So here I go and put the rest. So here you can see we are getting the apple, we are getting the cherry, and the remaining values like banana and guava we are getting separately in the array. Right? This is how we can unpack the array. Now the next thing is we can also perform this destructuring operation on the objects as well. So for example, let's say I do have one object now. Let's say let my details is my object, and in that object I do have the different properties. Let's say f name I am putting here as Ankit, l name I am putting here as Jain, uh, date of year let's say I am putting here as 1950. Okay, now I want to extract this object now with the help of destructuring. That also we can do very easily, but while performing the destructuring operation on the object, you have to give the exact same name as the property name. What you have to do is you have to give the exact same name as the property name. As you are destructuring an object, here you have to go give the object symbol. Here we have performing the destructuring of an array. That's why we have given the array symbol. But here I am performing the destructuring of an object, so I will give the object symbol here. Let's say here I want to extract the last name and the date of birth, or initially I want to extract all these three things: first name, last name, and the date of birth. So here I am putting the f name, l name, and the date of year. Right? As I said, you have to give the exact same name as the property name. You have to give the exact same name as the property name. Let me go and log these values now. F name, l name, and the date of year. Right? Let me put here the l name and the date of year. You can see here we are getting the values from the object by applying the concept of destructuring. Right? We have extracted the value in one single line and put it in the three different properties. Now in the case of object, let's say I don't want the last name. I only want the first name and the date of year. In the case of object, there is no need to leave the placeholder. You can directly remove that property and you will be completely fine after that. So for example, you don't want the last name, just remove that property. You will only get the first name and the date of year. The reason being, in the case of object, the sequence doesn't matter, only the name does matter. Only the name does matter. Okay, so you have to make sure that you are giving the exact same name. But the JavaScript also allows you to rename the variable as well. For example, let's say here we are having the f name. Okay, now I want to rename this to first name. So how I can put the alias for this? Put a colon and put the value whatever you want to give. Let's say here I want to give the alias name as the first name. So what I want to give here is the alias name as the first name. So here you can see we are getting the value as s name. Sorry, why? On line number 21, I believe we have made that change. Right. Now it is reflecting correctly. Now you can see here, we are getting here the f name as Ankit. So in case you don't want to use the property name as the variable name, JavaScript do allows you to put the alias for this. Right. So you can go and put the alias for your variable name like this. This concept is referred as the destructuring in the JavaScript. Let me go and check the chat box if we do have any questions. Okay, we do have the question from the Abhishek Singh. Can you explain again applying the spread operator on string? I missed the explanation. Okay, so Abhishek, when we go and apply the spread operator on the string, what will happen is it will break the string into the one single character. Okay, so for example, let's say I do have one string here. Let's say let my string is equal to Ankit. For example, let's say this is my string. Now, if I want to break this Ankit into the separate characters, so what I will do here, let's say I'm putting here is my char array. Okay, what I will do here is I will use the spread operator and put here the my string. Now, if I go and log this my char array here, you will see that it is broken down into the separate string. Right? So whenever you want to break the string into the sequence of characters, you can do that with the help of spread operator. I hope Abhishek Singh I make it clear and you got the understanding about this. Next question that we do have from the Jayesh Sharma is asking that array has index, so can we call a single element or the multiple elements using the spread operator? Jayesh, I'm not able to understand your question. If you can put with example so that it will be very clear. As all array has index, so can we call a single element or multiple elements using the spread operator? Sorry, Jayesh, I'm not able to understand your question. If you put your question in a more detailed way, I'll be able to answer it. Right. Apart from this, do anyone have any questions in the destructuring or on the spread? Let me know in the chat box or in the comment section. Okay, let's move toward the last topic for today. It's going to be very easy. That is the string interpolation. Okay, what is string interpolation? Very frequently we use this topic. Whenever we have to populate the string with the dynamic values, we go for the string interpolation. So in the case of string interpolation, we use this backticks. This backtick you will find just below your escape on your keyboard. Just below the escape, you will find this backtick. Right? With the help of this backtick or in between this backtick, you will go and write down your string. Again, I'm repeating, I'm not talking about the single quotes or double quotes here. This is backtick, which is just below on the escape on your keyboard. Right? That is referred as the backtick. So in the backtick, what you can do if you go and write down the string, and in the string, if you have some variables for which you dynamically wants to populate the value. So in such scenarios, you will use the dollar symbol and after that you will be using the curly braces. It will help you to prepare the dynamic string without using the concatenation operator. So in the case of string interpolation, what you can do is you can create the multiple strings, or you can combine the multiple strings without using the concatenation operator. You can also write down the expression in between the strings as well, right? You can also write down the expression in between the strings as well in case you are using this string interpolation operator. For example, let's say I do have two string. Let's say let my string is equal to my name is, okay, and I do have another string. Let's say let my string, this is my string 1, this is my string 2, and here I'm putting the string value as Ankit. Another string that I do have, let my string 3, okay, and here I'm putting that I stay in, and I do have another string, let's say my string 4, I'm putting this value as Pune, and another string here I'm putting is my string 5, okay, and here I'm putting that age is, okay, and here to populate the age, let's say I'm doing some calculation here, so let's say I'm putting here is calculate age is equal to 2023 minus, let's say, 1950. This is my age, and here I'm putting that my age here is plus calculate age, okay, or let me have something like this. Now, if I had to go and prepare this final string in the traditional approach, what we used to do, let's say I have to go and prepare my final string. So what I've used to do here is I will go and put the my string 1, or let me go and put it here something like this. Either you go and put the my string 1, or what you can do is put my name is, right? After that, let's say this value I want to populate dynamically. So I am putting here the my string 2. Again, I have to take care of the space plus symbol followed by the my string 2, again plus, right? We have to make sure we are opening and putting the opening and the closing brackets correctly. After that, I am putting here the my string 3, right? Again I have to make sure that this value is dynamic, so again I have to make sure that I am not putting this inside the quotes. I am putting something like this. So you can see there is too much work that we have to do whenever we have to go and prepare the string in the traditional approach, right? Now with the help of string interpolation operator, what we can do here is we can dynamically prepare the string, or with the help of templates literal, what we can do, we can dynamically prepare the string. How to do that? So let's say I'm commenting this string here, and here I'm putting that let my final string, okay. Here I'm not using the double quotes or the single quotes, I am using the template literal. So you can see I'm using this backtick here, and inside the backtick we start writing down the text. So here I'm putting my name is, everything you have to write it inside the backtick, right? Let's say you have to populate this variable value dynamically. So here what you have to do, you have to use the dollar symbol. Inside the dollar symbol, make sure you are putting the brackets, and inside this you go and populate the value, put the value, whatever the value that you have to populate dynamically, right? Now the next thing is, let's say I want to put the dot, and here I'm putting that I stay in. Again I have to populate the string for dynamically. There is no need to break the string. You can see I don't need to bother about the opening braces and the closing braces and anything. Here I'm directly putting the my string 4 like this, right? Now the next thing is I also want to put the age here, uh, and my age is. You can also perform the calculation inside this. For example, again I am putting this dollar symbol, putting this opening braces and the closing braces, and inside this I can directly do the calculation as well, like 2023 minus 1950. You can write down the complete complex operation inside this dollar bracket as well, right? So you can see here dynamically we are preparing the string without using this concatenation operator, without worrying about the opening brackets and the closing bracket. If you want, you can put the single quotes inside this, right? Let's say uh, I want to put the single quote inside this. For example, for a demo purpose, I am putting the single quotes here. I also want to put the double quotes somewhere. That also I can do. In case you are doing it with the concatenation, then you have to make sure that you are taking care of the opening uh, opening quote and the closing quote and everything, right? Now if I go and print this string, it will give you the final output like this. Here you can see you are getting the final output with all the concatenated values. This is nothing possible with the help of string interpolation, right? So I do have one question from Jayesh. Let's say he's putting that. Let me copy his question from the chat box and put it on the editor. He's saying that let my name is Jayesh. So what I'm not sure, Jayesh, what you are trying to convey, but let me say what I understood is here you have put one string. Now you want to break that string into the form of array, right? So what you are doing here is you are using the spread operator, and with the help of spread operator, you are breaking that value into the form of string. Right now, you want to access the first value from that array, and that's why here you are using the 0th index. Right? That's what you are trying to ask, or something else. I'm not sure. In case you want to break that string into the specific variable, for that we do have the separate method in the string. Again, I'll be covering that when we go and talk about the string. In case you are looking to break this string as my as the one, name as the second, is the third, and Jayesh is the fourth, for that we do have the separate method. Just to put a quick way, as you have asked, let's say let name array is equal to, you can go and put the name. Here we do have a separate method called split, and inside the split you can put the space here. So this is how you can break it into the form of different variables, and here you can access the single value, right? I believe this was the question. If not, you can let me know in the comment section. This is what I have planned for the today, folks. In case you guys do have any questions for the today's session, you can let me know in the comment section or in the chat box. You can also share your views on the Telegram channel or on the LinkedIn as well. Thank you all. Thank you for your time. Have a good day. Have a good time with your family. I will see you soon tomorrow again for the day 6 of this LWC bootcamp. I hope you guys are liking the session. Kindly let me know in the comment section or in the chat box whether it is useful for you or not. Thank you all.